Today's heavy rains caused some area creeks to overflow. We talked to one Grayson County woman who says she's used to the flooding.
Bowling Green police are looking for the person who stole equipment from an area volunteer firefighter in this week's Crime Stoppers.
And we'll highlight an area nonprofit that aims to give new opportunities to Franklin residents. WBKO at 6 starts now.
From your hometown news leader, celebrating the Day of Caring in Franklin.
We're live on the square in downtown Franklin to celebrate the United Way's Day of Caring and the spirit of volunteering.
I'm Sarah Goebel. Thanks for joining us.
And I'm Gene Burke.
The official Day of Caring is next Wednesday, July 28th. It's a chance for everyone to come together, work on service projects, and give back to the community.
Throughout the newscast, we'll tell you why volunteering, communities, and businesses are so important to the final success of these nonprofits. But first, let's turn it over to Shane Hollandy in the First Alert Storm Center with the latest on today's wet weather.
All right, thank you so much, Gene and Sarah. Yeah, things have been wet throughout the afternoon, but starting to dry out now. Let's go to First Alert Live to Operator. All the heavy thunderstorm action from earlier has dissipated quite a bit over the last couple of hours. Still some action, though, to the southwest of us over the Clarksville areas, Fort Campbell to just south of Hopkinsville. Showers and thunderstorms ongoing here, and more rain over far western Kentucky, too. That is progressing slowly to the east. The atmosphere over our area, though, pretty well overturned, so I'm no longer expecting the flooding rain potential and for the severe weather potential to be that great this evening, but still a possibility of getting some rain from time to time. Hot Rod's Cam, Hot Rod's set to have a home game tonight against Quad Cities. Some wetness in the infield there. We'll have to see how that goes, but temperatures have recovered with the late day sunshine. We're now up to 80 degrees at the airport, 81 down in Nashville. Still some more storm chances in that forecast, but plenty, and I mean plenty, more heat to deal with in the coming days too. Much more on that coming up in just a few minutes. For now, we go over to the news desk and Lacey Steele. Lacey?
Thanks, Shane. The heavy rains today meant flooding, especially near creeks and rivers. One place hit hard was Bear Creek in Grayson County. The water rose so high that the creek backed up to the point where crossing the road was becoming treacherous. Nearby resident Maggie Decker has seen this type of flooding there before, but when it's been at its worst, it's left her and her husband trapped in the house.
We're used to it, but you know, like if, see, my husband has COPD, and he's sick a lot, and we had to take him to the hospital Saturday night. So, I mean, you know, if anything like that was to happen when the water is up, I don't know how we'd get out here.
Decker says today's flooding was bad, but it still doesn't compare to how bad it got during the massive rainfall back in May. Now let's send it back to Gene and Sarah live in Franklin to hear more about the United Way's Day of Caring.
Lacey, being from Franklin, you know firsthand how wonderful of a community it is. Located off I-65, the charming town is the home of PGA golfer Kenny Perry, who also owns Kenny Perry's Country Creek Golf Course. Tourism officials say Franklin's notables go back 200 years, with Alamo fighter Jim Bowie known for inventing the Bowie knife, as well as Alexander Majors, father of the Pony Express.
And Franklin is full of history with 4 museums, including Octagon Hall, the old jail, the Sanford Duncan Inn, and the African American Heritage Center. With so much to offer, it's not hard to see why Franklin has been honored as one of the 50 best small southern towns.
Well, 50 years ago, the Kentucky Chamber of Commerce had a competition every year for the friendliest city. And I think Franklin won it about 5 years in a row back in the 50s. And that's still true today. A lot of people describe the atmosphere of Franklin as Mayberry-esque, talking about the Andy Griffith Show and that iconic small town.
Ware says it's on the National Register of Historic Places and is one of only 5 cities in the Commonwealth that has a thoroughbred racetrack, Kentucky Downs. Well, for many adults, it's a chance for further their education, and for others, it's a chance at a new beginning.
The Literacy Center is just one of the agencies the United Way of Southern Kentucky is helping in Franklin. WBKO's Lacey Steele found out how the center gives new opportunities by helping people build their education and skills.
People come to our doors and say, I need to learn something, I want to learn something, and we say, okay, and we figure out a way to serve that need.
When students 18 years of age and up come to the Literacy Center for help that's free of charge, they may be needing to learn to read, study for their GED, or learn a second language. But those at the center say students all have a couple of things in common.
They want to learn something, or they need to learn something to make changes in their lives.
It takes a lot of courage when you're trying to learn something new. A lot of times people don't realize that we are all learning and that we all start from the same place.
So they make sure the environment at the center remains warm and friendly.
We often have people tell us, years later that their experiences here changed their lives.
Those changes are for the students that learn and for the volunteers who help teach. There are many volunteer opportunities, from teaching to office work to helping out on the grounds. It all contributes to helping the students, some of whom are unemployed and trying to find a new job.
They're really taking advantage of the opportunity to come in and brush up on their different skills so that they're more employable.
The center has been a United Way organization for about 20 years, and those over the center say they're grateful for all United Way has helped them do.
We're unique in that we can serve people, I think, in an intimate way. We're able to, people can come to us and we're able to serve them more one-on-one.
Learning has to keep going, especially in this day and time.
In Simpson County, Lacey Steele, WBKO.
If you're interested in being a student or volunteer at the Simpson County Literacy Center, please call 270-586-7234.
Another United Way agency in Franklin is the Good Samaritan Clinic. About 15 years ago, several churches in Simpson County got together to form the Good Samaritan Ministry. The clinic was started to aid needy neighbors. It provides food and help with everything from rent and utilities to medicine to household necessities to lawn care and painting. The director of the Franklin Simpson Good Samaritan Clinic says they serve about 1,000 households a year.
Well, it's really good to be able to have a skill or a resource and to share it. Of course, it's good because you're helping somebody, and somebody who needs that resource or that skill or talent. And not only help somebody, you also get to meet them. You get to talk with them and develop relationships so that we become more of a community and more of more neighbors.
If you or someone you know needs assistance, you can call the Good Samaritan Clinic at 586-0276.
United Way is not only promoting volunteerism with its own agencies, officials there want you to volunteer no matter what the organization is. That's how important volunteers are, and one person who knows that firsthand is Judge Janet Crocker. Judge Crocker is the board member for the United Way of Southern Kentucky. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
First, what agencies in Franklin does the United Way help?
In addition to the literacy program and Good Samaritan, United Way also supports Habitat for Humanity. It's provided financial support for my drug court program, and it also supports BRASS and other regional service entities.
And what are some of the things you do to help those organizations?
Well, of course, United Way's motto is give, advocate, and volunteer. And of course, what United Way, of course, is trying to encourage the community to do is to support our nonprofits by giving financially, investing in the community, that by advocating, they are championing our causes, and I think very importantly, raising awareness of what our nonprofits do and the needs that they have. And then, of course, through the Day of Caring, that we are encouraging people to give of their time.
And there are so many wonderful organizations in Franklin to help. Why are volunteers so important?
Well, I think, of course, you start with a recognition that with the economy being what it is, that giving is down. And so we are looking for other ways to support our nonprofits. And one way that we are doing that is by encouraging people to volunteer their time. But I think by encouraging people to volunteer, that what that does is that it gives them more of an investment in the nonprofit. They learn what the nonprofit does, and ultimately, hopefully, will encourage them to perhaps give more generously to United Way if they're able to do that, or to give more generously of their time if they can.
All right, thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate it.
Well, it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Today, the Bowling Green Hot Rods took a swing at the Day of Caring by helping out at We Care. A few of the players sat down with the kids, they did some reading, played some games, and had a bite of lunch to eat. One of the pitchers for the team said this was a no-brainer for him to come out and help with the children. He said being with the kids brings him back to the days of his childhood.
Kid, one of 10 children in my family, so I love kids, I love being around them, and this is just a good way to be able to give back. And it sounded like a fun time, and it has been. All the kids are great, and they, it's fun just showing me everything, and just takes you back to those days.
Sullivan says everyone should give back to their community because someone helped each of us along the way.
And don't forget, the United Way's Day of Caring is next Wednesday, July 28th, and your help is important to the success of that day.
That's right. The Day of Caring is dedicated to helping our community, helping those less fortunate, and working to make a difference in the lives of others. We'll be live at 6 from Fountain Square in downtown Bowling Green on that day. Everyone is welcome to join us, so log on to our website, WBKO.com, for a link to the complete list of projects for the Day of Caring, ways you can get involved, and how you can make a difference. Now let's toss it back to Lacey in our studio.
Thanks, Gene. Coming up, a firefighter is missing valuable equipment in this week's Crime Stoppers. Plus, local schools are trying to get students to eat healthier. But first, today on our web channel, WBKO.com, we're asking, do you think the static kill method will stop the leak in the Gulf of Mexico? Log on with your answer, then watch WBKO at 10 for the results. Bowling Green police are investigating a theft from a volunteer firefighter's vehicle. He is now missing valuable gear you can help him recover. As Gene Burke reports in tonight's Crime Stoppers Crime of the Week.
Bowling Green police say Saturday night, June 19th, an Alvaton volunteer firefighter parked his black Dodge pickup in the parking lot of Simply Mulch near the IGA on Scottsville Road. Someone tried to break into the truck, but instead stole firefighting equipment from the toolbox. A helmet, jacket, boots, gloves, pants, and Nomex hood were all taken from the pickup. The jacket and helmet have Alvaton and the name M. Helms printed on them. The stolen gear is valued at $4,800 and takes several weeks to replace. This volunteer firefighter is unable to respond to emergencies until his replacement gear arrives. So if you know anything about this theft, please call South Central Kentucky Crime Stoppers at 781-CLUE or toll free at 866-842-CLUE. Or go to the Crime Stoppers story on our web channel, WBKO.com, to get to their website. You could get up to $1,000 for your anonymous tip.
Remember, Crime Stoppers calls are not recorded and they do not use caller ID. They just want your information, not your name. You may be the one to help